Charlotte Littlewood, Justin Trudeau spoke of credible allegations. There is credible evidence and there is allegations. Credible allegation sounds like a bit of an oxymoron. You've gone literally to war, diplomatically speaking, with India without sharing a shred of evidence to back that charge. Why do you think Justin Trudeau, pressed the nuclear button in this fashion?
I think there's quite a few things going on here. I think Justin Trudeau has been ideological, but also he's in a critical point in his own election campaign, and he's really struggling, and this is a swing vote for him. So there's politics, there's his own ideological indoctrination, and I think when we look at whether or not there is evidence for this, we don't know. We don't have access to that, but we can look at the kind of sources he may have relied upon and the people he keeps as friends. We know that on his visit, his last visit to India, he sat down and had dinner with a gentleman who has been convicted in Canadian courts for the attempted murder of an Indian official. So we know the kind of company he keeps. We know who he's also in a coalition with. So we have to understand that both politically and ideologically he is compromised. And then if you look at the UK, even recently we had a Khalistani activist who proclaimed his support for Khalistan on his deathbed, and he died in hospital from cancer. And the allegations have been rampant that this was an India inside job. So this is typical Khalistan textbook strategy to put everything on India. And at the same time, since Monday, there has been another killing in Canada, an inter-gang Khalistan slightly related Sikh gang murder. So we're seeing the same thing happening, similar to the Najjar incident, again since Monday. So this is something that takes place, and I think Trudeau, for political reasons and for his own indoctrination, his own belief system, unfortunately, has said the wrong thing prematurely.
This gangster who's been killed was killed in an inter-gang rivalry. Now the problem is, when you level this charge on India for having allegedly killed Hardeep Singh Nijjar, you don't know, because you have no evidence at the moment of whether this was actually an Indian hit job or whether, Veena Sikri, this was related to some inter-gang rivalry, because extortion, immigration, mobsterism, all of this is on the upswing because you're attracting all these unsavory elements and giving them shelter.
Absolutely, absolutely. The question of inter-gang rivalry was actually mentioned by former Chief Minister of Punjab, Captain Amarinder Singh, 2 days ago, where he said that Hardeep Singh Nijjar was definitely killed by inter-gang rivalry and India had nothing to do with it. I mean, all the political parties in India are supporting the position of the government of India, and Shashi Tharoor made a statement today, Congress has made a statement. All the political parties are with the government on this. They're not going to stand for the Canadian government trying to make India into a scapegoat for their own problems. Why can't they control the lawlessness of the Khalistani supporters? It's their own political internal problem, but they cannot try and blame it on another country. And I think that this question of the ISI support is very much there, because we know that across the border from Punjab, the whole question of bringing in weapons and drugs from Pakistan is continuing all the time, including through drones, and the support for the Babbar Khalsa people who are living in Pakistan is there as well. So, what is happening in Canada is an extension of what Pakistan is trying to foment elsewhere. So the connectivity between these two is absolutely unacceptable, that Canada should take it anyway.
Pramit Pal Chaudhary, you study the national security apparatus closely. This kind of a charge of assassinating a terrorist in a Western country has never been leveled in India before this. And unlike what Trudeau may think, where he thinks he's putting Modi government in the back foot, even if the government hasn't done it, and even if this happened because of a gang war, it actually works politically in the Modi government's favor, because many people who are watching think, oh good, we've been able to take down a Khalistani terrorist in Canada. That's the way to go. When are we getting Hafiz Saeed or Dawood Ibrahim or any of the other characters who are outside India? So politically it works in their favor, but from a perspective of the capability, the capacity to actually execute this kind of a hit outside India so far away, do you think that's now within the realm of contemplation? Because if you read the international commentary from The Economist to the Wall Street Journal, that's the only thing they're talking about.
Many years ago, I've worked closely on building the India-Israel relationship for almost 15 years. And I did have a chance to meet somebody from the Israeli intelligence system who was involved in assassination. As you may know, the Israelis are probably the world leaders in state-targeted assassination. And I asked him, I said, what is the basic requirement for a government or a nation to be able to do what you do? And he said, you can train people, you can do all of these things. That's easy. That's the easy part. The difficult part is getting the political will to back them. When you send out a person and you say, this is Rahul Kanwal, this is his file, I want him dead. He is an enemy of the state. You then have to assume that even if his superior changes, the intelligence chief changes, the minister changes, the government changes, the system will continue to support that person in his action. If you don't have that structure, you will never be able to develop that capacity. So obviously we now have had an extraordinarily stable government system for about 10 years now, which presumably has taken a very hard line on security. And I believe, and I know, in fact, that it has taken the idea of developing targeted killing as a policy seriously. So I could see that now having been developed. Plus, we also happen to have a very good relationship with Israel. So if we need to have a country that would help us learn how to do such a thing, we do have that country. So I could contemplate that. I could see that developing. We probably have that capacity in the South Asian region. If you've noticed, 2 IC-814 people involved in that hijack have been killed recently in Pakistan. So we can only speculate, but I would say the weather vanes are pointing towards the possible likelihood that we have developed that capacity. Canada, though, is very far away. And it's a question that we can't answer, obviously, here, or none of us would know whether we have developed the capacity to go that far. But I would see it as in the realm of possibility, yes.
You know, here's the point, Jagtar Singh. Most people watching at this moment would actually support the idea that if there is a known terrorist, the likes of Hafiz Saeed, Tiger Memon, Dawood Ibrahim, Syed Salahuddin, Masood Azhar, go out and take them down. Canada does it, China does it, Israel does it, America does it all the time. If all those countries do this and nobody has a problem, why complain about India doing this? And in that report we saw, this killing could possibly also be down to a gang rivalry, which also could explain why the Indian government has come down so hard. If they thought they were guilty, or if evidence could emerge which would put them in the dock, then they wouldn't have gone out so strong. If they've gone out, they're convinced that they are clean, that this is probably a gang rivalry, and that they aren't to blame.
There's nothing wrong if India has acted this way. I appreciate, by the way, it's efficiency of the Indian agencies. If they have done it, as you say, everybody is doing it, Israel is doing it, Russia is doing it, US are doing it, China doing it. But I think we are giving too much importance to ISI. Pakistanis are the people who can't manage their own country. I think ISI is the only very efficient branch. Rest, they can't manage their own country. Now coming to your basic point, issues must be addressed, no doubt about it. I don't go by the means, I go by the end results. I appreciate if this has been done by an agency, and it can't be admitted. That is the problem. The problem will arise only because Justin Trudeau has raised the issue on the floor of the House in the Parliament, and Five Eyes countries have not rejected that credible allegation. That is the problem.